Well, Commissioners, it's good to see you again. It's been a couple of years, but I just wanted to thank you, first of all, for all that you do, your time, your sacrifice, in helping make this a better county. So, this is a huge honor for me to introduce to you Judge Clarence Horton on this really special day. It was my pleasure to work with Judge Horton for the last 18 years on the Historical Moments series. And it's really funny. It seems like just yesterday when we did our first one, and it was in 2004. And I remember, here's a man, knows history, knows everything, but he's never been on TV. So, whenever you do that, it's kind of like, after the first take, I said, this guy is like the credibility of Walter Cronkite. He's got the friendliness and the down-homeness of Charles Kuralt, all in one person. I said, this is a good day for me. Judge Horton researched, wrote, and hosted all 25 episodes over the past 18 years. And it was the most popular, very much the most popular show on Cabarrus County Television and Channel 22. But I got to tell you, I got to share at least one little story. Okay, one day, Judge Horton's walking down the street, and there's a guy mowing the grass, and he stops, turns off his lawnmower, and he goes, "Hey, you don't remember me, do you?" And Judge Horton goes, I'm sorry, I don't. He goes, well, my last conviction, you gave me 6 months. And he goes, and I only got one thing to say to you. I love those history moments. So it just kind of shows you the impact that has. And he wanted to do something really special for Cabarrus County. And that's how this whole idea all started. It's capturing local history so people can enjoy it for years and years to come, and people even use it for research. And it's really interesting because he didn't realize that, he did realize that this was something special for Cabarrus County, but he had no idea, because of all the awards, national awards, state awards, that this series got, there are numerous places across this country, government channels across the country, that have tried to duplicate what he did to preserve their local history. So he has not only helped local history here, but all over the country. And one other thing, there was a guy from Australia doing research on Stephen Cabarrus, and he reached out and saw the video on YouTube, and he learned more about his ancestry, and he was related to Stephen Cabarrus than any other research he had done. And it just kind of goes to show of what a great job Judge Horton's done. But on top of being a wonderful historian and a television host, he is even a better person. I've worked with a lot of different people in my career, and I've not worked with anybody any better. He is polite, he's friendly, generous, especially with his time. And all these years to do this thing for no pay, no recognition, nothing. And if anybody deserves this recognition you're about to give to him, he is the man. And it is my honor to introduce my dear friend, Judge Clarence Horton.
Well, it could have been worse. In 1984, when the Methodists were celebrating our 200th anniversary of the American founding, I had occasion to interview Mr. W.S. Bogle. Some of you folks may remember him. He was a much beloved local attorney, and he managed to teach Sunday school at Central Methodist Church for some 60 years. Well, in interviewing Mr. Bogle, I asked him, how did you come to be the mess sergeant for a company in World War I? And he said, well, it's like this. Said, we had a camp 75 miles south of Paris. And one day the captain came to the camp and called the company together and asked, boys, can anybody cook? And Mr. Bogle said he hesitated and thought about it, and being an honest man, he answered, yes, sir, a little. And the captain, I'm sure, grinned at that point and said, you'll do. So WS prepared the meals for that company for the rest of World War I. Well, I say that to explain how I came to be here tonight when the folks were talking about founding this, or starting this show for the new TV station. David and Janet Dearman, who was then with Historic Cabarrus, were discussing their plans, and they asked to meet with me, and they said, have you ever had any experience or any interest in making little brief statements, they said, about history, and they called them moments at the time. And I forgot everything Mr. Bogle had taught me about volunteering. And I said, well, a little. And so here I am tonight. But there are a lot of people who have worked in this kitchen besides me, and they deserve really the credit tonight. And I'll try to be brief about it, but there are a lot. First of all, you folks have been wonderful, you and your predecessors, over the years to take a chance on the whole concept and to have us do these, allow us to do these programs. You supplied new equipment when necessary, and a number of kind words when they were even more necessary. The staff at the local station, David and his predecessors and other people in there, Jarrett Glass, who's presently doing a great job, John Von Cannon, and many others have actually done their best to try to polish the rough edges off of inexperienced narrator. The folks at the local libraries helped with the research for all these years without any credit or any hope of reward except to do a good job. Judge Marty McGee actually helped me write and research with a segment on Benjamin Patton. I think he's here tonight. And Minister Andy Langford of Central, who's now on the Concord Council, contributed his expertise in proofreading to the current video on Methodism, which was unfortunately delayed by the pandemic. And we had a kind of a 2-year hiatus, but that's going to be produced and seen. It may have a few errors now after 2 years in 2 weeks, and you'll get an invitation for that. When I started doing this, and I almost forgot to mention the most important person, my wife Marlene, I would hear about that, I'm sure. Has always supported the work and made it possible for me to have the time to do my work while she was doing a great deal of it at home. When I started, I thought there was just an unlimited amount of time, Carolina blue sky, and time within which to film these stories. But I seem to have overdrawn my account without finishing the job. I particularly result the delay on the Methodism project. Those stories need to be told. That was my reason for doing them to start with. And I'm certain that there are others who can tell them better and will do so. Because all those accounts of our struggles and sometimes our failures and our shining victories light the way for the future for all our generations and for their children. So I thank you this evening on behalf of all those who helped us for this kind recognition. And I harbor the thought that on some September evening in the future, another grateful storyteller will also be invited to stand here in the presence of friends and neighbors to thank them for preserving and helping us preserve these accounts and for sharing the stories of this very special place, this Cabarrus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge Horton. I think I've seen every episode and enjoy watching many of them multiple times. And so at this time, I'd like to read a proclamation to honor Judge Clarence Horton and CabCoTV's historical moments. Whereas Clarence Horton is an esteemed member of the Cabarrus legal community, serving as a district court judge from 1981 to 1997, as well as Superior Court Special Judge and an NC Court of Appeals Judge. And whereas Judge Horton is a longtime champion for the preservation of local history, giving countless hours of his time documenting and speaking on Cabarrus County's past. And whereas in 2005, Judge Horton began collaborating with the Cabarrus County Government Communications and Outreach Department and CabCoTV to produce Historical Moments, a television series based on a variety of local history topics. And whereas over the past 18 years, the team has produced 24 Historical Moments episodes, all researched, written, and narrated by Judge Horton. Episodes have covered topics such as area churches, old theaters, Stonewall Jackson Training School, Reed Gold Mine, Stephen Cabarrus, and more. And whereas the 25th episode, featuring local United Methodist churches, will soon premiere at a special commemorative event held in conjunction with the Historic Cabarrus Association, and whereas Historical Moments has earned numerous state, regional, and national awards, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Commissioners for Cabarrus County, North Carolina, do hereby recognize Judge Clarence Horton and Historical Moments for contributions to preserving the story of Cabarrus County. Commissioners, do I hear a motion to adopt this proclamation as presented?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and multiple seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. And thank you again. This is a truly invaluable piece of Cabarrus County that we will treasure for hundreds of years going forward, I'm sure. So thank you, and thank your associate David as well.